I hope this finds the right side of TikTok, but does life feel weird to anybody else? Like, whatever your situation may be, if you're in America, not in America, believe in God, don't believe in God, work a corporate job, work from home, unemployed, like whatever your situation may be, wherever you're located in the world, does life feel weird to you right now? Because to me, not only is life absolutely flying by, I almost feel like I can't keep up with it. Weeks go by now just like days used to. And this is weird to say, but I really sometimes feel like I lose track of time during the day. It almost feels like we had more time in each day a few years ago than we do now. But not only that, just day to day, normal living, does life feel weird to you? Does it feel almost fake to you right now? Because it honestly feels like a fever dream right now, and we need to wake up. And I don't know how else to describe it, but it just feels weird to me. It just feels fake. And I'm a Christian, right? So I believe that this is a spiritual battle. I believe that demons and angels are all around us at all times, and it's literally active in another dimension all around us. But lately, it just feels a little different even than that. It literally feels fake, and I don't know how else to describe it, but I need to know if anybody else feels this way too.
Indeed, I do. I feel exactly the way you do, young lady. And these are the kind of thoughts that I harbor, and as my chronological years add up on this earth, I think about these things more and more. But I've always thought this way. I didn't understand or experience the passage of time the way I do now. And like I always say, time is an artificial construct. When we're younger, we think time is a clock. We think time is a measurement that is official. Like it's segmented movement that we visually see on a clock that we agree to meet up on. When we have appointments, we have obligations or responsibilities or jobs, like that. But what is really time? I don't think time exists on different levels. I don't really think it exists on this level. I think we have seasons. And in those seasons, there are things that have to be done, completed. Some seasons go a little longer than others, which is evident when you chop a tree down and you look at the rings. And you can tell by the rings on a tree when it was more of a rainy season. When the rainy season came, that darker ring is thicker when it has more water come down, rain. When it was more like a drought-like situation, it's thinner, almost undetectable, but you can count the rings and see how the seasons went. Not necessarily with the actual time that man says precisely. This goes with everything measurement-wise. Unless there's some erosion on the beach, and I'm going to be very abstract in this particular talk, so I'm going to be out there. You're going to think I'm crazy, but I'm going to put it down because there'll be other people who understand me, right? But when you go to the beach, aside from erosion, man-made interference, you can go on vacation to another country and stand at that exact spot, and the water will come right to where your toes are. Sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less. But as big and as huge as this earth is, everything is precise. There's a little fluctuation here going on, but everything is precise. That water and the tide can come in and come right to the very point, as it had happened the year before when you came to the same vacation, just to make up a scenario. What's the other one I was going to use? It just slipped me. I forgot. But look at the birth rates overall for the entire planet. Do you ever think about stuff like this? That the ratio between males and females being born in the world is usually 50-50 with some fluctuation. One year it might be 47% girls, 53% boys. Then it might be 52% girls, and 50 or 48%, if I got the numbers wrong, right? 48% boys, but it's always kind of in the middle. So now tell me, why is it, or what power is it that knows what's going on in every bedroom, or back seat, hotel, wherever, alleyway, wherever you get your thing on? What universal power executes this balance? Now you have man messing around with hormones and doing things to the food and chemicals to make the men effeminate, turn them into females and make the females aggressive. Aside from that interference, what is it that keeps everything in balance? That's what I want to know. And I might never know on this level, and we might never know, but we have to understand that everything is so precise in nature, what we see in this world, and we understand that we are connected to nature. But I feel there's interference. Our connectedness to nature is being interfered with. And this is what the young lady is speaking about. She spoke for a minute, over a minute and 30 seconds, whatever it may be. But I know she can go into it a whole lot more. And there are many people who understand what she's talking about. And you can't just be stuck on this earthly level, or let me correct that, not just the earthly level, that's okay, but the man-made engineered system is interfering with your intuition to know that our energy is being robbed. Our natural God-given energy is being robbed on so many different levels. But we follow the man-made system believing that that is the truth that these institutions tell us. And we follow it, but at the cost of abandoning our intuition. We're trading off our connectedness to nature to follow a man-made system that will never help us to ascend to the next level. We think we are by the acknowledgement of the system and how we're rewarded in the system to keep us going deeper. How many people do you know that have college degrees? Not to knock anybody with a college degree, but they're just as foolish and disconnected. How many people do you know that are in a house of worship? Christians call it church, Muslims call it mosque, Jews call it synagogue, and other religions call it whatever. But many of them don't have a sense of spirituality. Just because you read the cookbook from cover to cover doesn't mean you can go in that kitchen and emulate a chef and produce a gourmet 5-star meal. Look in Italy with the bricklayers and stonemasons that never picked up a book to learn how to do it. They worked as an apprentice under a master who knew exactly what he was doing, and the apprentice picked up the rhythm intuitively. That has nothing to do with the man-made system. That's intuition connected to your craft. I was bored in art school, High School of Art and Design. All I learned are the names of the techniques of shading, because that's all it is. Especially when you're doing fine pencil and pen work, you're emulating what you see as far as how shadows are cast. And you transfer that on a two-dimensional medium, the paper, with your pencil, the guidelines, light guidelines, because I draw in pen. I'm a bad mamma jamma. I shade with pen. I just use the light pencil, like an 8H pencil, 9H, very light. That even if you press down on it, it's light, but it's all intuition. See, what this woman was explaining, basically, when she said time moves faster, it seems like the day moves by faster. Of course, your perception of time is going to be, and I forgot my hand rag, so excuse me for using my hand. Our perception of time is naturally going to appear to move faster the older we get. And I've always used this example to make it simple. You take a person who is 2 years old, 2 years old. Half of their lifetime is 1 year. So for them to get to a certain stage in their development that started at 1, whatever that may be, they had to go a whole half a lifetime to get there. Well, if we overlay that principle onto a person who is 50 years old, they're going to have to wait to 100 years old to get to a certain level, maybe of awareness or spiritual ascension, but they may not have that amount of time, the artificial time that we see on this earth. Many events in the motherland, they may say that this is going to start at 10 o'clock in the morning, but it doesn't start until the people show up, and that's the beginning of it. They may project a man-made time, an engineered time on the clock, but it's whenever they show up. Why? Because it's the energy they're bringing. And I know, and I can't probably prove it to you, because how are you going to prove intuition? When you see what we call all of these animals, like running around out here in my backyard and over the wall and all up and down the mountain, I never sat down and saw a bunch of lizards in formation with little books in front of them learning how to be a lizard. It's intuition. And we're leaving our intuition, and we've become unhinged with the natural world, the natural untouched world. We think many times that it's corny or outdated. We stay up late, and sometimes I'm guilty of that. I used to really be bad with that. Stay all up until the next noon with a computer screen, a couple of computers in front of me, with the blue screen bombarding my mind where I don't even know when it's time to go to sleep. I push it sometimes to get things done now, but where I am, nature overtakes me and I'm out. I'm reconnected, which helps to fuel my intuition. The foods you eat when you're in a natural environment, it's not the GMO, genetically modified variety. See, when they modify something or modify starch or modify certain things, that word you better watch out for on the labels of the things you buy, which you want to reduce the packages. You want to deal with nature direct. If you notice, when you have a genetically modified piece of fruit, you take a bite into it, which I wouldn't suggest. You put it down in the summertime outside, the bugs are not going to mess with it. I did this myself. When I was in Orlando, Florida living, which I lived there for 19 years, Mrs. Scurv and I went to a supermarket that always had good watermelons that had seeds in it. I made the mistake of asking someone about the watermelon and say, does this watermelon have seeds in it? And they worked there. They happened to be sweeping the floor. He said, yeah. But he was a maintenance guy sweeping the floor, didn't even speak English. I found that out later on. Because when I went back to the store, I said, hey man, you told me that these melons had seeds. He spoke Spanish back at me. I said, oh man, that's why that day when I brought home the watermelon and sliced it, there wasn't any seeds. It was a GMO thing. So I said, let me replicate an experiment that I saw on Facebook at one time. I believe it was Facebook, where they had a real ear of corn and a GMO ear of corn standing up on this table. They had it somehow supported up. And whatever wanted to eat the corn in nature, because it was out in nature, they ate the one down that was natural. The GMO, you could see where they attempted to take a few bites, but they left it alone. So I cut this melon in half because I was not eating it. And I put it in the yard with the rind down and the cut part up. So, and I put both sides like that. Went to sleep, woke up the next morning, and I was surprised to see that there was nothing crawling across it. There were ants crawling across the outside edge to get to the other side, but not to mess with eating. And it had some type of sugar in it, yeah, but it's altered. But the insects and what little animals, little flies, they have the intuition to know not to mess with that fruit. And that's something that we lost. And we're not just talking about fruit. Our sleeping patterns, our food, everything about us that connects us to nature. Look at what they're doing with the human body. And I've said this before and I'm going to say it again. Atrazine, a fertilizer that's heavily used in California, Florida, and Texas, and probably some other states in the United States, and out here heavy. It's been proven that on frogs, male frogs, in high dosages, it's an experiment, it's turned male frogs into female frogs that are capable of laying eggs. And that's the truth. Atrazine, Atrazine. Google that. Google that. Search it. And when I see the fertilizer out here in Accra, in the market that I go to, which I don't buy everything from there because they use fertilizer on things now out here. You have to go way out. If you don't have your own yard with fruits, there's certain things that you want, you're going to have to go to the outskirts, way out, beyond the crowd, into the country, to get the real tasty watermelons, to get the real tasty, untouched things. That's how they're doing us across the board. With this thing called time, with our life force, they're robbing our life force. Look at religion, this thing called religion. We have so many different religions in the world, and they claim that God said this and God said that. Yes, and with Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, there's a lot of similarities and overlap. But is religion spirituality? Now you have to be careful when people start talking about spirituality, because that's a wide open, sometimes anything goes type of involvement. And if you're gullible, people will come and tell you these things and you're looking for the answer, and you know the man-made religion is not serving you and feeding you. So you're open for all kind of things. You have somebody dressed up with their head wrapped and ankhs in the front, and they're talking this deep voice and blah, 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 and you look, oh, it must be the way. And they're saying all these slogans and captivating you with the words and the charisma, and they stare off into space because you're looking for the guru. Ain't no damn guru for you. There is a supreme being, yes, and you can call that supreme being God, that embraces the male and female energy of our existence. Even in the Bible, which has lots of insights, but you know it's been manipulated. It's like you go to your grandmother's home, and the apple pie or the banana pudding that she made so well, you look forward to that, to eat that. But she might be in the hospital or in another part of the country at that particular time, and everybody knows the recipe, so you have an aunt that whips up the same thing, but you taste it and it's good, but it's not grandma's. So we need to know, not by looking externally, but by looking within ourselves. Because if we're the children of the Most High, then we're connected to the Most High. Just like if you have children, you're connected to them. And they come to you at home and they're young and they say, Mommy, Daddy, or whatever the way they address you. Then you say yes. They ask you a question and you relate the answer to them in a way that they can understand. So imagine, and I'm saying this for effect, some little dirty, snotty-nosed kid from around the corner is always getting in trouble, walks up in your house when your parents are there and you're there and says, Mommy, Daddy, I'm not your mommy, I'm not your daddy. Well, yeah, you're going to treat that child right because as a child they don't know any different, but you don't have that extra connection to them. That spiritual, mental, and physical connection to them. They're a child, so you can radiate some knowledge or answer their question or care for them in a certain way, but that's not your child, that's not your DNA. Doesn't mean you're supposed to hate them. You understand what I'm trying to say? We have walked away from our connections. We, in our ultimate state, at the point where we're in our development, and these are things that I know, I can't say, look, it's my opinion, but in my heart, I know it. It's like when you see a little kid coming up, 7, 8 years old, and you say to the next neighbor, you see that one right there? Better watch him. He's a little light in the loafers. Watch him. And later on, here he is, 22 years old. I'm coming out. But you knew it. You knew when you saw the little kids who the bad ones are going to be. And it doesn't surprise you when you find out later on they've been locked up in prison for a decade already. You moved out the neighborhood and they updating you in the old neighborhood what happened. You said, I could see it on him. That's what you say, even if you don't voice it. I knew he was going to be a little problem. Then you have the good ones and you have those who obey their intuition and were raised right. But this world that we're born into was already set up to take us off course. It's already set up to take us off course. We came into a crooked, impure container. That's man's engineered world. The world that we should have been born into, which we are here. And this is why we have to move away from Babylon. That's the perfect world for us. Like I heard on another video, and I'll relay it. It goes in keeping because I agree. He said it. I could have said it. But it's the same thing. People say things sometimes that hits you a certain way and you agree with it automatically because that's what resonated in you all this time at that stage of your development. And he said, why is it that we are born into a world that we have to pay to live in? We have to pay to eat. We have to pay to keep a roof over our head. We have to pay for land. We have to pay. And we have to get into the system and work. And I have no problem with working the natural way. But the manipulated way of these jobs in a system where you give your time, which again is an artificial setup, but you give your time to trade it off for paper, to be the middleman or the middlewoman with the paper. Excuse me. I've been sneezing all day. I don't know what this is. I don't really have allergies, but I don't think I'm coming down with anything. But you have to trade off. Get that paper, so you can pay somebody else. And if you have a little left over, you do something for yourself, but it's very little. And you're left feeling drained. You're thinking numbers. You're thinking budget. You're thinking what you want to buy for yourself, what you want to do for yourself, because you're caught up in the system. And it's hard to pull yourself out of the system. But when you realize you've been in this system for so many years and so many decades, at the end of all that, what do you get? All you're doing is looking just to get a little rest. maybe get a little check every month and a pension or whatever, and we don't even have much of that anymore. People who do 401k are going into their 401k to live in the present to rob from their future. You have a big yard with mango trees and watermelons and pineapples and avocados and pears and ground nuts, which are peanuts. We have some of those in the back. Is there a pension plan with that once we get old enough where we don't have the strength in our back like we used to, and we're moving a little slower, so the mango trees, hold on, don't pick me. You're not working, you're not in the system. No. The creative system given to us is perfect because we don't have to go somewhere else to get paper to hand it to the mango tree to pick off a mango and eat. But if you want that in the system, you better pay somebody for that. And the money is manipulated. The value of it will go down, will go up a little bit, sometimes to tease you, but you're always reaching, but you never get there. Climbing a mountain that you'll never see the top of. Swimming across an ocean that you'll never get to the other side of. And most of us accept it as normalcy. But no, it's not normal. How many people do you think would not have mental breakdowns if they lived in a perfect natural system? Where we understand that the voice of the Creator comes from within, not the exterior guru who's trying to get money out of you, who's trying to get sex out of you, or try to satisfy their own narcissistic ego by sitting up in front of the masses and talking. But they're really little children behind that mask laughing and say, oh my God, this feels good, but they don't really know that I'm a fraud. So with this feeling of the spiritual oxygen being snatched out the air where it's hard to breathe, I see what it is. And I am physically out of the system. I'm financially still in the system. I'm not working. You know what happens when you turn 62, what the government gives to you and your pension or whatever. So I have a little breathing room. But that's not it. I want to pull myself out of the system more. Even though I'll always probably have dealings with the system, it will not shackle me. To be out of the system, deal their deals, but they have no hold over you, because it's not how much you make, it's what you don't spend. And if you pull your mind out of that yearning, there are people who will tell you, oh, one day I'll be happy when I get that Rolls Royce. But what happens if you don't get it? Why do you set yourself up for such disappointment? This moment, right now, I'm talking to you. We share this moment. This is what I have right now. This is what I've been blessed with. And I want to maximize it by being completely alert without distractions, without people interfering with my energy, or people trying to throw a thought in my head that interferes with my energy because I'm doubting myself and think, no, I'm supremely confident. I know what time it is on my timeline on this earth. I just don't know when it's my time to physically exit it, but I know I'm ascending. And therefore, this will not be around me. I'm enjoying it. We've accomplished major moves, or what many people would say, oh, it's just a middle class salary, compensation. Again, it's not what you make, it's what you don't spend, it's what you focus your energies on. And too many of us are running the rat race thinking there's a reward at the end, but it's pulling ourselves out of ourselves. So we're not consulting with the Creator that's within, that will guide us. That you wake up in the morning time and you know what you want to do. You made up your plans. Like, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this. No. I'm going to tell you what I do. I'm not saying it's right for anybody else. I have plans on what I would like to do for that day to accomplish and get my chores done, the things we must do to maintain our life. But I don't just jump up out of the bed like that. I lay there for a little while. I don't get up out of the bed until I'm fully conscious. I'm fully awake. There's that in-between state where you come up. You know you're awakening, but you're still attached to your subconscious mind. You don't just jump up out the bed and start your day and run. People do that. You're missing out on a whole lot. You have to listen to the voice. It's not a voice that your ears can hear. Maybe for some it is. Not me. But you start to plan out your day. Okay, this is the artificial man-made time on the clock, but I don't have clocks around me. I might check my phone. Okay, this is the time. And for me right now with no job and no schedule, I don't have to go and I got to be there by 9. I got to be there by 8:30 in the morning. I got to be there by 7. No. Unless I plan with somebody that we agree with this marker of a clock or a timepiece to meet at this time. Time for me comes from within. I am time. Because just like I said, what happens in the motherland, traditionally, when people agree to meet, the event starts when they all show up, or most of them. So my daybreak oftentimes starts with daybreak. But if I've been up a little bit the night before doing some stuff, I don't push my sleep where, I'm going to cut it short. I did years of that in the system. And that's what the system, in their mind, is set up to do that, to exhaust you, to drain you a little bit over time. So by the time you are 62 years old, most people don't have anything left because they weren't aware of, okay, I have to engage with this system, but I'm not going to go hook, line, and sinker and let it take my life force like it wants to do. And by it taking your life force collectively, as well as the other weird, demonic, spiritual things that they're doing that most are not aware of, you can't enjoy the moment as much because you're deficient of the life force that you handed over because you wanted to get that dollar, you wanted to get that CD, you wanted to get that pound, you wanted to get that franc, you wanted to get that peso, Japanese yen, whatever. It's the same thing. That's a collective life force that these people get. You're giving them your life force. And they're somewhere in the Caribbean, somewhere Hawaii, somewhere in the world where it's warm, on the phone, calling the company, calling the job, asking those who are supervisors over you in the books, how much did we make today? And you're slaving away. Oh, can I have a Thursday off? I have something to do. No, we can't let you go. You want to take a vacation? Work all year to get a week or two? No. There are too many people on vacation at that time. Your life force is being prostituted, and you're the biggest hooker. I'm not trying to insult anybody. I'm just saying it that way for shock effect. You're the biggest prostitute selling your ass on the corporate corner, but we must eat. We're in the system. And we go more into the system thinking if I give more time, it's imbalanced. But this world and the energy and the vibration is not even what it was earlier on in life. Even back then, whatever your age, if you're 100 years old, it was better 100 years ago as far as this energy thing. Now, I'm not going to say a black man or a black woman in the South in America had it better 100 years ago because you know the lynchings and the racism. What I'm saying is that our connectedness to ourself. And we've become unhinged. So this is why a full day doesn't feel like a full day. I'm not pushing junk food, but you remember as far back as you can, whatever age you are. That Kentucky Fried Chicken tasted a whole lot better than it does now for those who eat it. That the Big Mac was huge, and now it's like a cookie the size of something small. Big Mac? It's a Little Mac now. And that's how it is. This is how they're manipulating us. And again, going back to religion, we put so much of our life force in the external, but we don't hear the voice that's coming to us directly. Like I said, when I wake up, I wait to get that intuition. But I have to be right in my head. I can't be sitting here all day and night looking and throwing links at people for different websites and different foolishness. Yeah, send me stuff that's worthwhile, that we can relate to. But most of that stuff, no, I can't. Link throwers, link dumping. People that email me links, I don't even know who they are. Stuff all over. If I sat here in the phone addicted like most people are, I wouldn't be at peace with myself up here in the mountains. I wouldn't have the sense to want to even come to the mountains because I'd be so addicted to the man-made, engineered, demonic system that drains you. And as you get older, you feel like you're not absorbing life like you used to, if you do remember. I had a wonderful childhood. I remember when the sun shined. Oh man, it was heaven. But today, symbolically, the sun doesn't shine as bright as it used to. I'm not actually saying the actual sun, but how much we absorb from the joy that came from a clean heart and a brain that wasn't tainted with the foolishness that's pushed and bombarded on our minds. Yes, social media is the carrier. It's the accelerant for the filth. And because we now can secretly indulge in this thing directly in our mind. I mean, if you see a person addicted to crack, they don't go run down the church and say, hold on, pastor, I'm going to take a good blast of this crack. They go hide somewhere and do it. They don't go back to their family, even if the family knows they're messing with drugs. They don't sit down at the dinner table when the family's eating, which is rare now because we all have such jacked up schedules and the family is separated now. I always say that. We meet each other 3 o'clock in the, oh, you in the bathroom? Oh, Saturday, it's Wednesday now. Saturday, I want to talk with you. Oh, I know I'll be sleeping and I work all night. You know what I mean? But no person who smokes crack sits down and what did you do today, Johnny? Well, I got some crack and we're eating now, but I want to take a hit of this crack in front of you. You still got sense to know to hide to do the stuff that you're doing. You look at the statistics on how many porn sites are being viewed all over the country, all over the world, making billions. And all of these countless millions of women, millions, not even just today, but back in 1973, 1953, before the internet came around. It was military at first and expanded, got commercial. But look at all of that indulgence, things put in your head, keeping us at a lower level. I'm a man. A woman's body is beautiful. It's a work of art. And for most men that lose a little control, there is a lust factor, which I believe is righteous. I'm not saying, oh, lust factor, go and watch porn. I'm not saying that. But like I say all the time, no man gets turned on saying, well, honey, I want to make love to you. That apple pie, it was really tasty. Or your knowledge of the stock market really turned me on. No, you're looking at her body. Now, hopefully there's feeling behind it. Hopefully she knows that you love her and that's not the first and foremost thing you're after her for. Understood. But there is a faction, of a lust, of spark. And then when you start getting the sensations and the feelings and you love this person and you're intimate, it goes on to something else. Righteous. But all of these things you see on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, not all, but your algorithm is being invaded to put stuff in front of you. I mean, you pull up your timeline and you see these two big titties sitting up. Hey, what is that? Oh, I know what it is, but you got to pull your eye away from it. You're a righteous man, but it still gives you that spark. And the wicked system hopes to make that spark turn into a raging fire. Now you're out of your mission of what you have to do and what you were put here to do on this earth, because now you have a secret life at night when you lock the door and go get that jar of Vaseline. Everybody sleep. And you want that sensation, because the sensation in the life of fulfillment from living in a natural order is not there because it's been stolen. So you go for the cheap thrills. Got a little bottle behind the couch. I'm gonna hit this whiskey before I go to sleep. Get away from the stress. Gotta relieve myself, whatever it may be. You're hitting that pipe, you're hitting that joint, beating off, watching porn, whatever it may be. Got a little side piece around the corner. Because you're not fulfilled. And that's what the young lady was saying. The world feels weird, it feels different. They're doing things like CERN, ripping the portals, or creating portals and ripping the fabric to different dimensions. Don't you know there are different dimensions? You span your mind. When you think about what they call death, you think about a casket and a dead body or an unalive body laying in there. Yo, I don't want to be. You ain't going to be in that casket. Your body is. Do you think or get sad or get scared, not to be lewd now, every time you go to the toilet bowl? A part of you is going in the toilet bowl because you ate food, but you're not going in the toilet bowl. How scary that would be. Come on, Lance. There's a big toilet bowl up there. It's time for you to leave this dimension. We're going to put you in there and flush you. It's no different with a casket going into the ground. Your body has to go back to you're utilizing the minerals and the water and the calcium and all the things that are made from the earth as a vehicle to move about. But you have this gory final thing, this scary thing. Everybody's over. I mean, look, if nobody ever saw me again and I had a scab that I picked off and threw it on the ground, that's Lancescurv, that's his remains, let's gather around. Oh, I miss him. Someone will be like, I'm glad he's gone. I know who they are too. But we got to think beyond this and how we're being ripped off ahead of time. It's like certain parents that have children. Children don't know anything. They got a social security number. You know, they're not working in school. And the parent, irresponsible, is using their social security number and gaining credit by buying little things in their name and making the big purchase in their child's name, so the child grows up in debt. That parent may die. Parent's name is not on that thing, but that child's thing is. And so this is what's happening in the engineered system. They are taking stuff. They're using our godly credit, the things that are coming to us on an ascended level that most of us are not aware of, the inheritance of this eternal life if we do everything on this level properly. They're snatching it. And you're feeling it because you're not getting the joy as much as you used to. First of all, we're indulging in too many worldly things. So my thing is, separate yourself. If they want to take what's around you, go more into yourself. Get away from certain energies and certain people who are so addicted to these things and they want to bring you on down. By controlling your thoughts. Even if it's just a flash, you saw it, it might influence you. They'll keep on throwing the matches on the newspaper that you are. They done put gasoline on you and they're hoping it just flames up because they're caught up in it too. And they want you to fall down like them too. You see what I mean? And I know I'm going to have to go and start this show, but I wanted to start this out. I'm going to talk about it again and go further. I hope I didn't lose you, but I'm happy that you're here with me. Let me know how you think about some of the points. I lost track of the artificial thing called time, where we're going to meet to do Malik's show tonight. So I'm going to sign off right now. Let me know what you think. Lancescurv out. Thank you for spending time with me and listening to my zany thoughts, if you think it's zany. But this is stuff I know, and I will go deeper.